Well, talk about a career resurrection here for Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee there with Arthur Smith. When he took over week 7 of 2019, look at his NFL rank. First in passing yards per attempt. He has the third best passer rating in the league since then, 111.3. He came alive. Third most offensive touchdowns for that offense. That whole offense just really shined. They sung once Tannehill stepped in, and it just completely changed from what they had with Marcus Mariota. So let's dig into that a little bit more. Get down to Nashville, Tennessee, where Mike Giardi joins us. Good morning, Mike. So my question for you is, with the departure of Arthur Smith, who was in Tennessee for about 10 seasons as an assistant, now he's the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. How will that impact Tannehill and this offense? Or do you expect it to sort of, maybe it improves?
Yeah, I'm not sure you can improve on what they've done the last 2 years, although adding Julio Jones certainly makes them a more explosive offense. If Jones can be the guy that he was in Atlanta for the better part of his career, where we're talking about one of the best receivers in the National Football League. But I think you're looking at the same offense. The offense that Arthur built is what Todd's inheriting now, Todd Downing, and it's what Ryan runs and runs well. They found things that work with this offense, and with that trio of Derrick Henry in the backfield, A.J. Brown, who's looked absolutely outstanding. In fact, talk to the guys around here, they believe Brown's looked a little bit better than Julio, and that's not to say that Julio hasn't looked good. It's just that A.J. has really been on point. So the ability for this team to be explosive and to find different pieces, and having Jones, I think, was really interesting because, thus far in camp, Jones has been on the right side, A.J. has been on the left, but that's not the plan. The plan is to move those pieces around, and you get Julio in the slot or you get A.J. in the slot, and that's a tough ask for the elite corners on the outside, never mind the guys on the inside. And Downing is someone who likes to live in the 3 wide receiver set, the 11 personnel, did it a ton in 2017 when he was the OC with the Raiders, and it makes a lot of sense when you add Julio. And then, of course, Josh Reynolds, who not on the practice field again today and has been dealing with something since the spring. But you get those 3 guys on the field, that's a pretty formidable trio. And I know if you're a quarterback, you got to love having those big-bodied options to throw to.
Well, not only just the big bodies, but this is one of those ultimate situations as we go into the season where you go, all right, defenses, pick your poison. What do you want to do? Because you talk about the great matchups on the outside, but more advantageous for a quarterback is when a team is forced to drop an extra guy into the box. So when you do that, now I know I've got one-on-one on the outside. And, hey, which route do I like better? Which matchup do I like better with these 2 guys? And the other piece that – to me is exciting is I remember when I was in Arizona and we had Anquan and Larry. One of my favorite things was to put them on the same side, because you think about if you put them on opposite sides, teams can roll a safety over the top of both sides. They're not going to commit a 4th guy to a particular side. So you want to try to quote unquote double a guy, put a safety over the top. So be it. One of those guys is going to get a matchup where they're in a one-on-one type situation. And so would not be surprised if oftentimes you saw A.J. Brown and Julio Jones on the same side of the field, forcing a team to go, okay, what are you going to do now? Who are you going to put your best guy on? And then, as Mike was just saying, Julio does a great job running from inside the slot. And when you've got a guy that's that dynamic, can get down the field, has a 2-way go, man, it's really going to open things up. So if I'm Ryan Tannehill, I'm sitting back going, I could make my job easy by just handing it to Derrick Henry. If you want to keep 2 safeties back, you want to drop somebody down, man, it's just easier. Now all I have to do is close my eyes and pick one of these 2 guys that can win in any and every situation.
And speaking of defending all of these weapons that the Titans have, the Titans get one of their own defenders back on the field, their first-round cornerback, Mike, Caleb Farley. So tell us a little bit about that down there.
Well, they're really excited about Farley. The feeling was going into the draft that had he been healthy, he would have been the first corner picked. And I was at his pro day, and he's such an impressive kid. And he said, look, am I disappointed I'm not going to be the first corner taken? Sure. But he goes, when they do my 30 for 30 years from now, it's just going to be part of my story. So I love the confidence. He believes he can cover anyone, and they have such strong feelings about the kid, his character, but in general, his overall talent. And Colin, when you look at what they did last year defensively, they weren't good. There's no sugarcoating it. They were bad getting to the passer. They were bad when the ball was in the air. They struggled to stop the run. And what they've done now is they've remade a lot of those pieces, and they're starting from scratch. And that secondary, 3/4 of the starting secondary is gone. And in their place, Elijah Molden, a rookie corner, he's probably going to be your slot guy. Farley, if he's healthy and he's out here today, expected to be one of your outside corners. And then you brought in Jackrabbit Janoris Jenkins to be on the other side. And Jackrabbit, 2 picks yesterday, a vocal guy. I think there's just going to be a confident group, a group that is capable of being so much better than they were last year. And with this offense, if they're that good, Colleen, then they are an incredibly dangerous football team in the AFC.